What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be looking at MSTR today. It's going to be a quick video. We're only going to talk about one thing. It's just a quick little run through, talk about some ideas, where we could be at in terms of global liquidity. And that's pretty much it. I'm just getting a quick video out before I start working, because I work for 24 hours at a time. So sometimes it's easier for me to get these videos out in the morning, opposed to later in the day. Because I could be busy during the day and even throughout the night. So when I'm at home, it's easier for me to do the after hours. I know some of you guys like the after hours to have the whole night to prepare with the information for the following day. So also, I just want to thank everybody for all support. Channel's growing way quicker than I ever expected. This was honestly just an idea in my head for like the past 2 years, where I was just looking at charts, charting up every single day. And, I would be doing all of this stuff, but in my head, talking to nobody about it. So it's cool to have a community that's on the same page as me and I can share these ideas with. And I love when you guys share your ideas back, commenting the high, in-depth comments. I love it because sometimes you guys point out stuff that I might not be looking at. So I appreciate all the feedback from all you guys and all the support. But let's get back into the video though. We're going to be looking at global liquidity, which we always talk about. We already know this. But this is a 44-day offset on MSTR. And honestly, before I had like a 56-day, but 44 looks pretty good. I saw somebody talking about it on X, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it and just see what you guys think about this. Because this looks pretty spot on. I could probably place it a little bit better, but you guys get the idea. You can see it's pretty spot on. This sideways chop, and the takeoff was pretty close, and then the top was pretty close here. So I feel like this is pretty spot on. And somebody was saying maybe we're just here in global liquidity before we actually begin to take off again. So I wonder if that's the case. If that is the case, we could get a nice little run up. But I guess if you were to measure out the move, because this leg here was 82%. So if that was an 82% move, I wonder if we were to measure it out where that would land. So let's say from here to here was an 80% move. I wonder what happens when we move it over and where this next leg will take us. Because it seems like it's much smaller than the move that we previously had. So maybe this is going to be like a 60% move or something like that. I don't know. It's just these are just hypothetical numbers. We're just brainstorming here, but if this was an 80% move and this one's a little bit shorter, then maybe we get a smaller move than we're anticipating here. But then again, we might not even be right here in global liquidity. We could be back here. So, and that's where the offset gets tricky, because we really don't know where we're at. A lot of these moves, especially when you're in the uptrend, they look very similar. So you guys let me know what you think, which offset works the best on MSTR, not for Bitcoin. I was doing the 56-day prior. I don't know if this one is holding. Maybe, maybe not. It looks like it's kind of deviating a little bit to the downside. But I don't know if this is a move down here, is this move here, or if we're in this move right here. So I wonder. Hopefully we're only right here. I hope that's the case. But maybe 56 is off too. Maybe we're at a 60-day offset on MSTR. This would be a 60-day offset, which this dip would kind of coincide with this move here. But then when you start looking at the peak looks off. But MSTR is known to front run moves. It's not, so maybe it front ran what we anticipated here on global liquidity. Obviously, this happens way ahead of time. As we know, this is a 60-day lag, but MSTR tends to front run Bitcoin, so I wonder if it front ran this little spike here. But then it was also on time for this one. So I don't know. I really don't know where we're at exactly because there's just a bunch of different theories. But hopefully this is where we're at. And we have another leg to go. Because if that's the case, and you go from, I guess, this point to here, if that was an 80% move, you know, of course it's hypothetical. If that was an 82% move and we, you know, place it like that, then we have plenty of room to go. You're talking, I don't know, maybe 130, 140, 150% move left if we're in this spot here. Just in terms of global liquidity, and that's saying that this is the top, which I don't really think that's the case. But that's just my ideas, you know. But yeah, if we were to gain, we're sitting at 373 in pre-market. If we were to gain another 82% move, that would put us at 680. If we continue going higher and we get like 150% move, that sits us at about 950. Hopefully, the MNAV can actually go above 2. If we can ease off of, you know, MSTR with the ATM, maybe hit Strife, you know, hit those for the ATM to get MSTR up a little bit. Maybe we can touch a 2.5 or something just for, you know, maybe a week or two, because that's all we really need here on MSTR. We only need a week or two of aggressive moves and we're blasting off, you know. That's really all we need. When you overlay this move, you can see we're already deviating from the path that we previously took. But you can see like I said, we only need 2 or 3 weeks. Easy on the ATM, and this thing can absolutely rip. That's all we need. Think about it. Even if we were, you know, up to speed, we're still sitting at like 450 in terms of like this move. So we're still not too far behind. We can still catch up to where we should be, you know. The real gains were made the last 3 weeks. You can see we went from, if this were the same move, and I don't even think I measured out perfectly, but it's just an example. You can see from 423 in a 3-week span, you end up at 935. So it really does happen that quick. And global liquidity on the weekly. I think 12 is the best for MSTR. I feel like it kind of makes sense. But then again, I could be wrong again. Maybe it's not. Maybe we're right here. So maybe I can change that. Maybe this is the offset. I mean, it looks a little off, but maybe this dip here on the weekly is this move right here, and we continue up higher. Because when you put 12, that puts us somewhere in the middle of this move here. So I don't know. I'm not too sure, honestly. This one looks off, but the dip lines up at least. It kind of makes sense. It could probably be off by 1 or something. Maybe it's a 14. Maybe that's where we're at. I'm not too sure. But then it doesn't line up with the bottom. But when I move to 12, it lines up with the bottom a little bit better. So I don't know. You guys let me know. Let me know what you guys think on the daily and the weekly in terms of MSTR, not Bitcoin, the offset. You guys let me know what you think, if it's higher, lower, if I should change the numbers up. And let me know where you guys think where we could land, you know, by the end of the year, by, you know, July. I want to hear your opinions. Like and share with a friend, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.